Welcome to second session of Django. If you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing to receive further updates.
So what we saw earlier, so we saw the Django first look, how it looks, so we created the project and we ran the server and how this is how it looks. So we discussed about something like project structure, wherein we discuss about what is init file, what all this file, ASGI settings file and URLs and WSJ file. And also we discussed about app life cycle. So how we create the app, what are the files that comes with the creation of the app, and what are the files that we include after the app creation. So this basic knowledge is very important to understand the further things. So moving ahead, so this is a high agenda for the today's session. We'll see how much we can reach. So we will create the new project with respect to one of the live examples that we'll be discussing, and we will have the PostgreSQL configuration as the database, and what are the template files and its configuration in the Django project, media files configuration, and static files. What are the static files and how what it does, template engine concepts, integration with the Django Bootstrap, user and the user model, migration, registration, login, logout. So before moving to developing our live project, so these are the tools that we are going to use. Apart from last time what we had discussed, PyCharm and browser is the same, and pgadmin is Postgres admin, which is used to view the PostgreSQL database. It is a browser application itself, and PostgreSQL is the database server that we need to install. This is the software, and Bootstrap is the library for the HTML, CSS, and JS. I'll show you from where we can download this. Okay, we can download it from here. PyCharm we can download it from here, and you are supposed to download the community version of it. pgadmin you can download it from here, and you can use any version of this. You can use, so this is for the Windows download itself, so you can use any version of this. So you have the PostgreSQL download available on this site, enterprisedb.com, and you can download any version of this. Right now I have downloaded 9.6 version of this, as I was already having 10 version of this. So I'll show you what that file is and how it got installed. In the today's session we are going to use this concept more. So we are going to use Bootstrap 3 over here. There are versions of Bootstrap like Bootstrap 4 and 5 is also available, but as of now, for the basic purpose I have taken this version. Okay, we'll be starting with the live project, and our live project, what we are going to discuss over the curriculum of this entire session is visitable shopping online. So nowadays what is happening, like all people are in at the home, and we are facing the problem due to this lockdown to go out and purchase vegetable and all. So that's how what I thought, let's take this real time example that we sell the vegetable online and we deliver it to the home. So what all things required and how is going to happen, how is the database structure, how the user module, how the authentication sign up, login logout page will work, these all things we'll discuss. So if you see, PostgreSQL, I'll tell you about this installation because this is something new. So PostgreSQL, first you need to download the PostgreSQL, you need to install the exe file. Okay, while installing you will be asked to put the PostgreSQL, for logging into the database itself there is one password, so you need to put that password. So as of now I have put root at 123, R capital OOT at 123, and always the PostgreSQL is run on the 5432 port number. But since I have two versions on my desktop, that is Postgres SQL 10 and 9, I have used 5433 as my port number, and this is how this this is how my PJ admin will look like. PJ admin 4. So it will start the server, and it is a browser application. So here you can see PostgreSQL 9.6. I have two versions installed, PostgreSQL 10 and PostgreSQL 9.6. As you can see, there are two databases available here. Uh, Postgres is the by default database that comes with the installation of the de Postgres database, and Trending Updates DB is database that I have created. So we'll be creating new database over here, and I'll tell you how to do that. And libraries. Bootstrap is the library for the HTML, CSS, and JS. We will be using this more for the design purpose, and this integration part and everything will be discussed further. So we will start project from the scratch, though we have studied the project in the demo session, but we'll start this project from the start. But I won't take much time. I'll be discussing this in the brief manner, as I have discussed this earlier also. So I'll be taking you further with the creation of the project. For creation of the project, now we used to use the command prompt terminal. Now PyCharm inbuilt provides you the terminal. But before coming to the terminal, let's understand the configuration that we need to set in the PyCharm. So go to files and go to settings. You need to set up the default interpreter, Python interpreter. So you can see here a project interpreter. Inside projects there is project interpreter. If you can go and select any interpreter over here, like Python 3.6 is your entire machine's Python, and these are the files installed with that version of the Python. And Python 3.6 trending update session, which is the environment that I have created inside trending update session folder, and these are the files that Django, Pillow, and these many are the files that are already installed in this environment. So we select this and press OK. Now coming to the terminal, it is exactly same as how you are using the terminal, Windows terminal. You can see now terminal that we have launched it from the PyCharm itself. We will be using this terminal itself because for the faster development we need to do the things here itself. So this is our folder that we have created earlier also. So this is how it looks, trending update session folder, and inside which we have one environment, and we have demo session project. We don't have to do anything with the demo session project as of now, and we'll leave it as it is, and we'll start creating the new project that is called online cart. And trending environment is the same environment that we are going to use for this project. Start creating the project. So the command for creating the Django project is Django admin. And I'll name it as online cart. Once this command is executed, you should be able to see one more folder in trending update session folder. So I'll just refresh this. You are supposed to see this online cart project. So if you see the file structure, it would be like this. Now we don't have to do anything with the demo session. We will only be worried about online cart, and this is our project now. Our project directory is this. So this is now our project directory, and let's move to the project directory online cart. And here you can execute the commands like python manage.py run server. now once you click on this server, you should be able to see like this. This is our first look of the Django. Now we'll start making changes to this, as we have also discussed in the previous session. So you see, always I need to type python manage.py run server always. So we can do one thing, we can make the configuration for the PyCharm so that it runs automatically on the single click also. So let's move to the server, let's go to the edit configuration, and here we have I have already set up the server. You can name this as server or anything else also to run the server. So you need to choose the proper script path till the manage.py file. Just open this. As of now, this is demo session manage.py file, which is incorrect. We are worried about online cart manage.py file. So go to the folder online cart and select manage.py file and press OK. So this is now the script. This becomes the script part, and parameter is the run server that we use, python manage.py and run server. It will work like this, and apply, say OK. So as soon as when you run this, see, now there is run, and here it is running the server. You can see from the trending env python, and this is a script path, and then run server. So you see, we can also run it like this, apart from running from the command prompt itself. So as of now, I'll stop the server and I'll move ahead and I'll create the app inside the online card project. So coming to the terminal, I'll start creating an app python first. I'll create dashboard, and for every module we'll keep the app isolated, like dashboard. For the order section we'll create the different app, and for the user section we'll create the different app. Cool. So if you see under the online cart, we should be able to see this dashboard section. Now from the URLs, we need to first create the URLs for this dashboard app. Let's say URLs. I'll copy the things from the URL section which are required for me. Just I'll copy these things and I'll paste it in the URLs. Guys, for the faster development, I have copied certain codes in my doc file. So whenever necessary, I'll copy and paste the things, as typing the things would take more time. And wherever necessary, I'll just type in the things and I'll show you how exactly it works. And whichever code I am pasting, I'll make sure that I'll explain the code properly. So we need to create a view for our home page. So we will do it like this. From dot import views. That means from the current folder we are importing this views file, and from the views file we need home function and name home. So this is the namespace home, which I'll be discussing further while explaining you the things. So currently I don't have home page here. So I'll go ahead and I'll create the home function request, and I don't do anything in this as of now. I will put it like this itself. I will not do anything to this. So we need to keep certain things in the proper manner so that we don't face any problem. Now previously I had discussed that our templates folder should be in the dashboard, like in the app folder it should be templates folder, and then create one more folder and place your HTML file over there. But doing this will cause more trouble, like every app will have the separate templates folder, and this will cause a more trouble. To set the see now, what I'll do, I'll create the folder here itself, like in the project directory. You can see side by parallel to this there will be a templates folder. Okay, now to make this templates folder to be used by our entire project, we need to do certain settings. What we need to do, we need to do we need to go to the project configuration, and we need to go to the settings file. So you can see here it was, earlier it was templates folder, and then app directory true, and rest all things were saved. But what we did here, like let me copy it from here, os path.directory base directly and templates. Now what it does is, I'll copy things here. Okay. Now you can see the red mark for this. PyCharm shows you like this so that you can import certain packages required for the same. So import OS, which will be imported. I just clicked on it and it got imported over here. Import OS. Now you don't see any error message over here. So os path.join, that means base directory. You can see what the base directory is, and base directory is something like this: path, file, resolve, parent, parent. So the parent of parent means it is base directory is online cart, inside which to this base directory we are including templates also. We are making the join for this. So the templates folder will be used henceforth. Coming to the home page, now what we were having is URLs views.home. By clicking control and click of the mouse, we will be going to this function, and there is the request, and what we need to render over is the HTML file. But HTML file, currently we don't have any HTML files related to this home folder, home page. So what we'll go and do is, so to separate out the things, to separate out the HTML files apart from any other app that is created, we'll simply go and create a new directory and paste say dashboard, create dashboard, and inside which we'll just create the HTML file which is named as home.html. So this is home.html. I'll just say home, and I'll say h1 welcome to home page. Cool. So this home.html, we need to put it under views.py file so that it can access it from here. So what we'll do is return render request. So what you are seeing is function based view of Django. So this is how it works, and from now it should be able to access your templates folder, and in the templates folder inside the dashboard we have home.html file. Let's go ahead and see whether this works. So let me see whether my server is running fine. Yes, my server is running fine. So let me go to the browser and check if my things are working fine. No, this is not working fine. So let me go ahead and see. Okay, I'll click on this. Something is wrong over there. So let me fix that. To access the home page first, what we need to do, we need to go to the URLs and include the URLs of this app folder. So how we do that? I have discussed this earlier in the previous session also. Just put this empty URL and say include import include as well. So use the app name dashboard dot urls. That means we have included it now. As soon as our project sees the empty endpoint, it will go to the dashboard URL. In the dashboard URL, again there is an empty endpoint, and here from this empty endpoint, it will go to the views.home view. And in the views.home view, we have written the HTML page to the browser. Okay. Something is wrong. I'll just start it once again. Okay, okay. Now starting server again, it gave me a problem like no module name dashboard URL. Okay. So in the settings file, we need to first include the dashboard app name so that it should be accessible everywhere else. So in the installed apps, just go here and type in like dashboard apps dot dashboard config. This also I have discussed it earlier. Let us run the server again and see whether the server is running fine. If not, then there is something wrong that we have done. No module name dashboard URL. Okay. Okay. I got to know what is the problem. So you see what mistake I was doing is, so here it is named as URLs, URLs, and here I was trying to access dashboard.urls. So just I was missing with this part, that was yes. So you see like such mistakes might happen also. So I'll run the server once again. Now it should be running fine. I hope so. Yes, now the server is running fine. Now, once you go over here, welcome to home page. That is the main page we are supposed to see. Okay. Till here, any doubts, guys? Any questions you have?
No, sir.
Everything good?
Yes, sir. Fine.
Okay. That means we have configured this templates folder very well. Now, what is media folder? Media folder is something which we'll use to store the photos that we upload on the server. Okay, sometimes you might be having uh, user photo to be uploaded on the server. So what you do, you use the media folder. You choose that folder and you store the files over there. and you store only the name and the URL part to the database. So to do that, what we need to do, we need to set this configuration in the settings.py file. I'll just copy this configuration, go to the PyCharm, go to the settings, go to the project settings, and then say media folder. So okay, now coming here, media folder. Now what this indicates is that like templates folder, we can also create the media folder, and we can place all the like templates folder. We can, like this templates folder, we can also create the media folder inside the project directory. Go here and create the media folder. Okay, and this media folder can be used to access the to upload the files on this media folder. Now I'll leave it as it is. So moving further, this part I'll discuss later on. I'll show you how exactly it should work. Cause if I include this part now itself, which will not explain you the things properly. So I will explain you why this this particular thing has to be done. Media URL and the media root. Now we'll we'll see certain template engines concepts. So what is template engine? So Django uses Django template engine. So what this means, to display the variable from the backend, to show the things from the backend to front end, we use this Django templating system. So how to declare a variable, how to pass the variable to this HTML file. So let's go ahead and click on dashboard, see in the views. So we can also pass the context from here. So I'll pass only name. Now my name is Abhishek, and I'll say pass context. Now you can see it is rendering this page home.html. Go to home.html page from the templates folder. Inside the dashboard, see dashboard home.html page, and inside it, welcome to okay, and I'll say I want to display the name that is being transferred from views to the HTML file. So simply I use the name, the key of this. So it will display the value for this. So you can see the value from this, like value provided to this is Abhishek. So it should display me what? Welcome to Django session, Abhishek. So there are some filters available. So what are those? Like to this, we can also use the filters like upper case, lower case, and title, and also join and end. We'll discuss with this with the example. I'll leave it as it is. And I'll say just use the pipe and then say lower. It will display all the characters from the name in the lowercase. See, display lowercase Abhishek. So you can copy the same thing and say uppercase. So while explaining, I'll also tell you something, some Django shortcuts to be used to copy and paste. So if you're on the same line and if you press Ctrl plus D, it will copy the same line to you below. So what you can do, you can also make changes over here. Now I'll say uppercase, lowercase and title. Title. Okay. See here. How it, this is lowercase, this is uppercase and this is title. That means first letter of this is capital. So apart from this, now I'll use break. Okay, break. No. I'll also show you how we pass the list, and that how we can use the join, as well as what was that one more thing, as well as length of this. So how we do that, now going to the views section, we will pass on one more list, that is you can say name list. Okay, what I'll do here is inside the list I'll just give like guys, if I am too fast please let me know. I have passed one more list from there. So just what I'll do is inside the h2 tag I'll display this list. I'll use the key of the dictionary and it should display me the okay, there is some mistake. Okay, no, the server was restarting. So this is my list. So I can use the join over here using the Django template. I'll copy paste and say join. I'll use the pipe mark, join, colon, and this is how it will join, and it will display me the list like this. You can see trending is joined. Now if you want our join to be separated by a comma, you can do this like this also. Join separated by comma. Okay, see, you can see though it is joined, now it is in the string format, but it is separated by comma. Now we'll see we can also calculate the length of the string as well as list using the length filter. So how we do that, we can do it like this, like length of name and length of list. Name, length, name, list. I'm doing this together cause it is something which is very simple. Sorry, it should be like you can see length of the name. So what my name is Abhishek. So length of this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And what is the length of trending? Like list 1, 2 elements available in the list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Suppose if I add one more suppose I say U capital, and that means I am adding one more element to it. So now my length should be 9. You see length is 9 now. So this is how Django join, Django filter works, and this is how the Django templating works. Now discussing, if sometimes we have like if you want, we want to check certain if conditions. Based on the if condition, we need to display a tag or we need to display some message in the HTML file. So how we do that, we'll see. So I'll do it here itself. Okay, I'll put it like. So how we check the if condition in the Django template? This is how we can do. You should be using curly braces and then percentage tag and then say if name equals to Abhishek. Okay, in the curly braces, and body goes over here. That is something like h3 tag I will use to display. Uh, if the name is Abhishek, then he is admin. Okay, so you need to also type else part. So only you can do this way also, like only use the if statement also. So you should be closing it like this, and if block. If I reload this, if else condition, he is admin. So you can see, based on the condition, it displayed me that he is admin. So what if the name is not Abhishek? Okay, what I'll do, I'll go to views and I'll just change the name to trending. Updates. Server is reloading. Okay, if you see, I have passed the trending updates as name, and inside the template, inside the template, what I am doing is I am checking name. If the name is Abhishek, then he is admin, or else. Now we have not given else condition over here. So what we'll do is we'll just give the else condition and we'll display that he is user. If name is something, as well as you can display he is admin, and for understanding purpose, as well as I am displaying the name. Now it is very necessary to end the block properly over here. Just come over here, say end if, and then say percentage and curly braces. See, he is user, and the name that was given was trending updates. Now again, if I pass the name as Abhishek, that means it should display me as the server is reloading. As soon as you make changes to the views part of the Django or models, the server, Django server will restart by itself. It is the default functionality that is provided by Django to you all. So you no need to worry about the Django restart again and again on your own. He is admin and this is Abhishek. So we will see how the for loop. Sometimes we need to display one certain elements, like 10 elements in the for loop. So we will not go ahead and display it separately. So we make use of the for loop. So how we make of the for loop inside the template? So this is how we can do. So already we have the list. I'll make the heading as for loop. Okay, this is how we go and discuss for loop. For now, this is the after the for, you have seen the Python's for how it works. So this is how it for, and the variable name. So I'll use just the name, or I'll just say var in name list. So we know what already is there in this name list. So body of the for loop goes over here. So in this I'll just say, okay, inside the h5 tag I'll display the var. So while displaying, you should always make of the double curly braces, and while writing the tag you should make use of the curly braces and the person tag. So this is how it looks like, and end for should be end for, and how the if work, that was end if. So this is how the for loop works. See, you can see, so on each line it is displaying me the characters or elements present in the list. There is template inheritance, which I will be explaining while explaining the base.html file. So integrating Django with Bootstrap. Okay, so how we do that? You can see now. I'll go to the Bootstrap page. Here the link is provided. I'll go to the docs and then say 3.4, and just I can pick up the link from this. Use this link, as well as you can pick up this all. See, this is a latest minified CSS. You can just use all this. Okay, this is optional. Okay, theme was like, theme is for the optional. Even if you don't use, it's fine. Go here inside the HTML, and where do you put the CSS and script file? Just paste it over here. Now that you have all the Bootstrap related seed through the CDN, we are able to access the Bootstrap related Bootstrap related thing. So as soon as you reload this page, you should be seeing some changes over here. So how it looks like? See, did it change? Yes. How did it change? Because we are using the Bootstrap CSS now, and not the simple CSS that was already provided to you all, like header tag and all. I'll tell you what all things are available to you all in the Bootstrap. So Bootstrap will be divide the page in the rows and columns. So how the things are, like, you can consider this as one row, and column will be divided in the 11 parts. So I'll apply only to this. I'll apply Bootstrap only to this above code. So what I will do is div.row, press enter, press tab. It will generate an automatic code for you. This is the functionality of the PyCharm. Okay, class row, and div.call md12. Okay, that means row is divided into 12 columns. Now to have the separate 12 columns, we can divide it by 4, like this. See, now what if I place all this inside the middle column? You see, the laying out of the page becomes easier while using Bootstrap. I'll discuss some basic concepts of the Bootstrap, so that while moving ahead, you will not face any problems understanding why this person is typing row and columns. If at all you put, now the page is divided between, like, see, row. If you see inspect over here, and if you go to the row, see, if you say inspect over here and if you go to the row, so it will show you this row. Now if you go to the column, the column is divided between 12 columns. If you hover over middle column, it will show you the middle column, and it will, and these are the columns that is present on the left and right of the middle column. I'll try moving this to the left hand side. So in the left, first 4 column, I'll paste this code. See, it got moved to the left hand side, and middle and the last one are empty. Now I can do one thing. Whatever code I had written for the least purpose, I'll cut this code and I'll paste it under middle column. You see, now the list is displayed in the middle column. Okay, what about this if and else condition? We'll try moving it to the third column, like division of the third column. I'll copy the things from here and I'll simply paste in. You see, all things are working fine. That means our Django is integrated now. When you use this CDN, this is like online version of Django. Now, I'll discuss the Flipkart example to discuss further user interface. We are developing something which is very similar to the Flipkart but not as good as Flipkart, but we are going to develop demo or mini version of Flipkart. Like, we are going to sell only vegetable part. So our database will work in that format, and this is something you can see. This column, if wherever you go to the mobile section, this column remains, this row remains constant, this row remains constant. And about your, this is called your header part. Any site you see, the header part remains constant and only the content part of this will change. If you go to the extreme bottom, you can see this is something footer. We will develop something similar to this but not as good as this. Yes, but we will develop something like this. I'll show you the example how we are going to develop the thing. this this is our home page will look like. This is header, this is the content part of the page, and this is our footer. Copyrights 2020 trendingupdates.com. Okay, and this is how it will look like. Here will be the login part, here it will the my cart, and here it will be wish list. The whatever products you as important or to your wish list, it will be added over here. And this is the my orders. Whichever orders you place, it will be displayed under my orders. And home page, it will simply display you the products that are available for selling, vegetables that are available for selling. So this page should be displayed without having to log in to your account. Okay, so this part also will take care of. We will also discuss about the sign up and login part. First we will discuss how our bootstrap thing will work, how our user interface will work. For this page itself, what I'll do, you can see there is something called class called as container. I'll tell you the difference between this also. Container and content flow, there are two classes. This is our main content. Okay, and you can see how our design will change accordingly. See, when we use container, excluded few spaces over here on the left and the right corner, right side. If you say container fluid, it will use all the it will use all of your page. It will use entire size of your page if you make use of this container fluid. Okay, so as of now we'll use the entire page. So this is the main content. Of Before this main content, what I'll do, I'll just create a div. This part should be my header. This part should be my header. I'll just display a header message over here. Inside this row, I'll make use of footer. Okay, you can see header and footer. Now going to the bootstrap, we'll start using the navbar for header purpose. So what we'll do is we'll go to the bootstrap page, and we'll see something like navbar. Okay, navbar is something like this. You can see over here also it is same. So navbar is something like this. This is your brand name, whatever name or image you can put over here, and these are the list, in the form of list. These are the different tabs available, like getting started. These are different pages, and this is how it looks like. So so we'll go to the navbar, and we'll pull the simplest navbar, the default nav. Okay, we'll make use of this. So it will only display me the bootstrap brand name over here. Slowly we'll develop so that we will get to know how the things are working exactly. So inside the first row we'll put this nav. You can see brand. So source is not available properly, so it is not displaying us the image name. So this is something. Now you can see this is in the light version. Whatever color you have used is not that visible because everything is white. You can do over here is you can go and you can say navbar inverse. It will invert the color for you, and this is what we were looking for. Now we'll start putting like home page, and then my orders, wish list, cart, and your login logout glyphicon. So how things will work. Now simply I'll go and add like in this. Okay, I'll mention it as now. This is what we were looking for. Like these are the links that are available, which will go to the separate template file, and this is the brand name. Okay, as of now I'll hide the image for this, and I'll simply say like put it like trending updates online cart, you can say. Now that you can see, we wanted cart and login on the right hand side. So how do we do that? So to do that, we'll put this in the separate UL. I'll just copy this. and I'll put the UL and I'll use. This is unordered list, okay, and inside which we want this both the fields, that is both the list, that is cart and login. You can say my cart. Okay, now you can see my cart and login is displayed in the uh, there itself. So what you can do, you can simply use the navbar right class so that it will pull the things to the right side. This is what we are looking for, like three of the pages on the left and three of the nav elements on the left side and two of the on the right side. Now you can see there is some symbol over here, like for the cart it is correct but for the login it is incorrect. So you can go ahead and check on the bootstrap page uh, for something glyphicons. So these are the glyphicons that are used to display simple symbols or icons to understand the login, logout, user, my cart, everything else. So here you can check for login and logout what better you can use. So I'll just say I'll search for log in. Okay, this is the icon I found for login. I'll copy this icon name, and this is how it works inside the span it should be put. I'll say glyphicon, what was that? Glyphicon log in. Log in. See here, glyphicon login. And also we'll develop a footer for this. So how do we do that? I'll just copy paste the code cause I don't have to do much things over there. I'll just copy paste those things. We want to display it on the center. So how we'll do it? So we'll use text center. Yes, it is on center now. So to display like on the to the bottom of the page and not here. So what we'll do, we'll make use of the class. So coming to the website, we'll just check. Yes, it is placed on the. So we made use of the class navbar fixed bottom. Okay, so this you should remember how to fix the layouts, whether it is upside or bottom side. Okay, this is how it looks, and this makes our home page ready. Okay, now apart from this, we will also check for the login and sign up. For the login and sign up, we are supposed to create a database. For creating a database, we will make use of the PostgreSQL. To make use of PostgreSQL, we will use the settings. In the settings, we will configure the PostgreSQL. We need one library to make use of PostgreSQL that will install through pip in our virtual environment, and then after all this configuration is ready, we will create first the database in the through the pg admin, and then that database should be configured under the database section in the settings.py file. And after all which do these things, we will start using user model from the Django itself. We'll abstract the user model from there, and we'll add one more field of our choice, and then we'll start using of this user model. Okay.
So see you guys in the next lecture. Thanks for watching.